Okay, so Google AdWords. There's a lot of people, only paid advertising actually. So there's a lot of people who are petrified of doing any sort of paid advertising because they've spent a lot of money. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. There's usually two areas where mistakes happen. The first area is you can actually just do based on location. So you can say, I only want my ads to show within 500 meters of this building. Or likewise, I can say I don't want my adverts to show in a certain area. So by targeting, that's certainly one area that a lot of people make mistakes on. The other area that people make mistakes on is the negative keywords. So a lot of people forget or they're not even aware that you need to have negative keywords in your campaign. So therefore, if you've got a negative keyword, your advert doesn't actually show. So there's a couple of ways to do that. And so we've got our keyword strategy tool here. So what I've done is I've just put in the word AdWords into Google search as an example. You can see here in the positive list, I've got 738 positive keywords. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add to that. So I'm going to click that box, click to Bing, search, and then this will add the search volumes from Bing onto there. So you can see that's now 2,371. So in a lot of keyword strategy tools that you see, keyword research tools, they have the option to delete keywords you don't want. But what we have to remember is we live in a data-driven world. A data-driven world where all data is important to us, whether it's positive or negative. And you'll notice here that what we've done is with this tool is you can actually select the keywords that you want to come up for and the keywords you don't want to. So as I click, you can see this negative folder filling up with keywords that I don't want to come up for. So for example, if we were an accountant, the keyword research would be every search in the UK with the word accountant in. Okay, and then if we had, for example, accountant Milton Keynes, accountant Newcastle, and an accountant Bournemouth, if you were in Newcastle, clearly a negative keyword would be Milton Keynes and Bournemouth because you don't operate in those areas. Likewise, if you're an accountant in Bournemouth, negative keyword would be Newcastle and Milton Keynes because you don't operate in them areas. So what we can actually do with this tool is we can actually export the list we want, but also we can export the negative list. So what I don't really like seeing is if you go to a digital agency, quite often you'll see something that looks like this, where they basically put in all this plus luxury, plus yacht, plus charter in this particular case. This is not, in my view, the way you do paid advertising. You need to do the research and do exact phrase matches because exact phrase matches are going to be cheaper. So in an AdWord, you get a phrase match, an exact match, or a broad match. So what we want to do is by doing the exact matches, we're actually going to be able to hone in on those keywords and remove the keywords that we don't want to come up for. And we don't want what's called overlapping keywords. So first of all, I'm just going to show you this spreadsheet as well. So this is from an ex-customer, and what it's doing is it's showing a 30-day report. So you can see here on the previous 30 days we're minus 250,000 here. These are obviously all red, they're negatives. So as you go down the list, you'll see this is where we've optimized as per the Logic digital marketing methodology. And if you buy any of our products, by the way, you'll get a copy of our book, Lost in the Digital Noise, which actually has 2 hours of videos which will actually run you through the strategy. And then what you see is here on line 73, you'll see we go up by 110,000, so a positive 110,000, and then you see it starting to drop. The reason it's dropping is because we're now competing against our own 30-day reports. The interesting thing for me was on these 2 days here, this particular company had a change of card. and then the card didn't work. They had another 2 days, and what I noticed was we've actually got a situation where we've got what's called overlapping keywords. So the organic traffic was something like £10,000 a day you were getting from the organic, and then what happened was you find that the paid advertising is actually competing against the organic traffic, and that's why we don't want to see things like this here with the plus symbols in between, because you can't move things across. So hopefully you understand that. If you don't understand it, obviously give me a call and I'll talk you through it a bit more. Now, if we do the keyword research correctly in the first place, we've got our positive and our negative list. So let's just run you through that for a second. So what we can do is we're going to have all of our positive keywords, and what we're going to do is we're going to identify keywords and phrases that we can use in our campaign. So the question is, how do we do that? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy a load of these keywords, but you'll also find there's quite a few like questions in there, so you can just see them starting to come up. Can I? So what we'll do is we'll just do this bit because it looks a bit more interesting. Copy, and then what we'll do is go back to the tool, and what we need to do is we need to find the search volumes for those particular keywords and phrases. So if we put that in the system, here at the bottom, when I click search, obviously UK pounds, and so here you can start to see we've got all the data. So as I export the data, I can then decide based on the actual data. And this is a data-driven strategy. It's a proven strategy, the logic methodology. And if we just increase the size of that so you can actually see it. So column A, we've actually got the keyword or phrase. Column B, the number of searches in the month that we're doing the spreadsheet. The cost per click if we're doing paid advertising, and here competition level. So you see here where it says 0.26, so that's 26% in effect. The rest of these are month by month, so month 3, month 2, month 1, 12, 11. So the idea is you can actually start to come up with a monthly strategy based on a product or service you're offering where there's more people searching that particular month. And what we can also do is we can identify obviously the search volumes, but here if you look at this keyword, this word here, difference between AdWords and AdSense, there's 390 searches. We've got nobody bidding against you on paid advertising, so therefore the cost per click is going to be low. And here you can see the competition level is just 1%. So therefore, if you want 360 people onto your website, it might be worth doing a blog post, difference between AdWords and AdSense, and then basically do an AdWord campaign and drive the traffic into this page. That will drive traffic that are interested in reading that article, and they will then learn about your services and business if you offered AdWords as a service. But you can also see down here there's a lot of questions. The interesting thing for me here is when we get down here you start to see questions with no data. The difference between this data here and this data at the bottom is this data is taken from paid advertising. So it's taken from AdWords already. So people have already advertised on these keywords and phrases previously. That's why we have the data. These keywords here, where there's no data, this is because they're on the predictive search. And so this is where now voice search is starting to come in. People have got these Alexas in the house where they're now saying, how do I do this? What is this? And so by identifying what those questions are, you can actually start to answer them and hopefully use that either as part of your internal or external strategy. So the logic methodology starts with optimization, then it goes into paid advertising, and then it ends with content strategy. That's the core foundation of your digital strategy. There's no point in just doing paid advertising or just Facebook advertising. What you actually need is an integrated strategy. You need a foundation that you can build on. And the reason for that is if you went straight into doing paid advertising, if I had a fully optimized site and you didn't, and I was we were bidding, for example, on exactly the same keyword phrase or whatever. Yeah. The AdWords actually goes on a quality score. So if I've got an optimized pace, clearly my quality score is higher. So therefore, I might be paying 50 pence a click, whereas you'd be paying £1 a click because you've got no optimized content. And this is where there's lots of opportunities by identifying keywords and phrases that column C, nobody is searching on, and column D, what the competition level is for that particular keyword and phrase, so you can actually design your whole of your digital strategy around the actual data. And let's face it, you can't argue with data.